this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, joined alongside my good friend and co-host Tony Sapita. And breaking news, Justin Fields is back, baby. He is starting against the Green Bay Packers this upcoming Sunday in Week 14 on Sunday Night Football at Lambeau Field. Andy Dalton, thank you for your service. Really appreciate what you did. Unfortunately, Andy Dalton has a hand injury on his non-throwing hand, and he would not have been starting when Justin Fields came back anyway. So Justin Fields' cracked ribs are no longer cracked. They are sealed. They are secured. They are ready to go. And Justin Fields is back. But before we begin, we'd like to thank our sponsors. Tired of your pizza toppings sliding, office coffee distracting you while driving, grease and other stains getting on your seat, or you're just enjoying a game on the couch and don't want to lean over? Look no further than the Stupid Car Tray. Visit www.stupidcartray.com and use discount code J16 to get 16% off your entire order. Link in the description. 40% off your entire order. Head over to stupidcartray.com right now and get the perfect Christmas gift or holiday gift for those your friends and loved ones. Tony, Justin Fields is back. What are the benefits he brings to the Chicago Bears against the Green Bay Packers this upcoming Sunday night?
Yeah, the biggest thing I think is just mobility, especially because you know that the Packers, I know that, there's kind of been a sentiment that, we don't even care about the Bears at this point because they're, just beating them so many times. But it seems like they go extra hard trying to embarrass us every time they play, especially obviously Aaron Rodgers. We know that on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, I mean, they change up their schemes best they can to try to trick. Obviously, it was Mitch Trubisky beforehand, someone who obviously struggled reading defenses. And I think that's what they're going to continue to try to do with Justin Fields here, because he is still a rookie. He is still learning, but that mobility is really going to help him. And if I guess Matt Nagy's calling plays now, I'm all confused on where we're at with that. But if they can just get him out of the pocket, get him moving, that's when he is at his best, throwing on the run, being able to make that decision of, should I look for, maybe a little tight end about 12 yards out near the sideline, or take off and run. It just gives the Packers another thing to think about that I don't think Andy Dalton, which again, I'm an Andy Dalton hater, nice guy, but I will say he did a good job throwing from the pocket. It was fine. It was the Bears in general were a mess against the Cardinals. But this really does add a good element, a different twist, I guess, because Andy Dalton's a very typical quarterback. Justin Fields is atypical in a sense that, fast guy, has a good arm, can really make defenses think.
And also, Justin Fields is going against a very respectfully tough defense. A lot of people don't think about Green Bay's defense when it comes to like their record. It's always Aaron Rodgers is leading them to being 11-5 or 12-4 or 3-13. I mean, they never get past the NFC Championship except the one time. But like the Packers defense this year is a bit of a challenge, and especially their secondary is very strong. Adrian Amos is someone that you just cannot go against. But that mobility is going to be key for him, especially against a strong Packers front seven. And I think that Justin Fields brings that ability in order to break it to the outside. But Matt Nagy needs to let him do that. Do not make him a pocket passer if he is going to get sacked every time. As a rookie, he's going to panic. He's going to get happy feet. He's going to take the ball and take the sack. That's something that Andy Dalton did not do a lot. Yes, Andy Dalton got sacked against the Cardinals, but not as much as you think. And, you get rid of the ball as soon as possible. And if Justin Fields really wants to rip it up and really wants to put like a statement on the last game that the Bears and Packers are going to play with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback, win this game, go out there, run it up the field, be a Lamar Jackson, just take over the offense. Just take the rock, and you are the best weapon right now. You might have Allen Robinson back this week, which could be huge for Justin Fields, because Allen Robinson is definitely going to want to get out there and tear it up. But and also use the tight end as long as Cole Kmet doesn't drop any more passes. Just make it work. And Jimmy Graham obviously has been getting hot, so use him too. So Justin Fields obviously opens up the offense pretty well here. Quickly, just want to go for what Fields did last time against the Packers. So when we played the Packers at home a few weeks back, Justin Fields was 16 for 27 on his passing, which is a 59.3 completion percentage. He had 174 yards passing, 6.4 yards per pass with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. So he had a pretty good game considering it was a rookie. It's his first start against Green Bay ever. And he knows how important that game is to the franchise. And I know you said this earlier, Tony, but the Green Bay Packers and Bears game, no matter how bad either team is, no matter the position, if they're going to the playoffs or not, it's always a great fun game. It's always competitive. Even if they're down 42-0, guys are still out there putting in work, trying to do something to make a play to make something part of the rivalry even more memorable. So with those stat lines, where do you see from that point in Justin Fields' career in the season to now? Obviously, you've had the Pittsburgh game, you've had another couple big games for Justin Fields. Where do you see the most improvement coming on his stat line?
Yeah, so I think it's probably the reducing the mistakes. I think he's done a good job of that. Obviously, the Ravens game was tough. But we saw that against the Steelers. We saw that even against the 49ers, where if you go back to that Bears-Packers game, I was there, not a big deal. The first half was awesome until like the last, I think it was 2 drives. And he thought he had a free play, threw the ball up. It was intercepted. And then he did that again. I think there was a miscommunication with him. And I think it was Darnell Mooney. There was another one where he just sailed it. Another interception out of the back of the end. Or not, it actually wasn't 2 interceptions. One was just a drive killer. My apologies. But just kind of knowing, I guess, the awareness, his offensive awareness is, I think, increased at this point. So he started out the game really well. So if he could just continue to play like he did in the first, what would that be, 28 minutes of the first half of that Bears-Packers game, he's already proven he can do it. He just has to do it the whole game. And I don't even blame him for the second half either, because that was just a classic Bears meltdown that, you could have Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes combined back there. The Bears would find a way to melt down and lose that game.
Exactly.
So I really think he's going to make less mistakes. I think. Well, I don't know if Matt Nagy's calling plays, then they might look like mistakes, and hopefully he'll get a couple more calls, because that was a big factor in that game where we should have had the offsides, but we didn't. That was on that what we thought was a free play. We couldn't get a timeout off, and they wouldn't reset the play clock, and they set the ball up outside of the hash marks on that one. Some people didn't get mad enough about that. That's just pure incompetence by the referees. So hopefully just make less mistakes, kind of almost be a little game manager, run the ball with David Montgomery, run the ball with Khalil Herbert too. Look for those tight ends, near the sideline. That's clearly his best play. The best play is a little 12-yard sail route or a 12-yard out to Cole Kmet. And I think we got to utilize that more.
Or just throw it up to Darnell Mooney, because that's obviously been a huge success too. And the one thing that I want to hit on before one more quick update before we close out is that Justin Fields, I think, needs to be given the complete playbook that Andy Dalton's been given. And he's had 3 weeks to review it, understand film, talk to coaches, ask questions, watch Andy Dalton run some of these more complex plays. Give it to Justin Fields. Give the rookie the confidence. You have nothing to really lose at this point. I know that the Bears are still technically in the hunt for the playoffs, but they need a lot of help from the outside of this game in order to keep things going. So one more thing, Tony.
Real quick, I completely agree with you on opening up the playbook. Those sprint outs that they were doing with Andy Dalton, I think will be even better with Justin Fields. He can get out there quicker, and that's just a great way. That's a great way to get rid of the ball quick, but also get him moving, instead of just like a little, one-step hitch, like from the pocket. I think that's a great point by you. I just wanted to say that.
Well, thank you. I think that he's faster than Dalton, and Dalton was able to Dalton's an accurate quarterback. I mean, he was able to get it done. But overall, I agree with you too, that those runouts would be great. Now, one quick thing about Andy Dalton, and we kind of said this earlier, is that he did not practice today. And it's because of his non-throwing hand that he injured against the Arizona Cardinals this past weekend. So Nick Foles might be the backup this upcoming Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. And I don't even know what to say to that. I'm wishing the best for Nick Foles against the Packers if he were to play for some reason. But just want to put that little disclaimer out there. We're going to have much more in-depth detail of our thoughts of this upcoming Sunday's game, either tomorrow or Friday. Tony and I still haven't discussed that yet, but we will have more Bears news for you. And any more updates, we will record as soon as we get it for you guys. So with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside my good friend and co-host Tony Sapita, and we will see you guys next time.